The Trickster's Gamble, Loki's Unlikely Deal. Introduction. In the realm of Asgard, where gods weave fate like golden threads, there lived a trickster, a being of chaos, mischief, and cunning words. His name was Loki, a silver tongue, a mind sharp as a dagger, and a heart full of schemes. He danced between gods and men, ever smiling, ever plotting. But even the cleverest of foxes can find themselves ensnared. This is the tale of how Loki, the master of deception, nearly lost his most precious possession, not his power, not his freedom, but his very head. Would you dare make a deal with the god of lies? Let us step into the firelit halls of Asgard and hear his fateful gamble. The story begins. Loki, ever restless, ever scheming, found himself before the Dwarven brothers Brokkr and Sindri, masters of the forge, whose hammers rang with the echoes of creation itself. Their hands shaped the bones of the earth. Their craft rivaled the work of the gods. With a smirk curling his lips, Loki placed a wager. Forge treasures beyond the worth of all in Asgard, and if the gods deem them finer than those I have seen, you may take my head. Ah, but Loki was no fool, or so he thought. He planned to disrupt their work, to twist fate in his favor. Yet fate, as even gods must learn, does not bend so easily. The dwarves took up the challenge. Their hammers struck the anvil with fury, and from the flames, wonders emerged. Gullinbursti, the golden boar, swift as the wind. Draupnir, the golden ring, dripping with endless wealth. And then, the greatest of all, Mjölnir, the thunder-bringer, the unbreakable hammer of Thor. When the gods beheld these gifts, there was no contest. The dwarves had won, and Loki had lost. Emotions and reactions. Panic. A rare thing for the god of mischief, yet there it was, coiling in his chest like a serpent. He had thought himself untouchable, yet here he stood, with a blade looming close, the price of his arrogance to be paid in blood. Brokkr, eyes gleaming with triumph, reached for his knife. A deal is a deal, Loki. Your head is mine. But Loki, oh Loki, was not done yet. His lips curled into a desperate grin. Ah, my head, yes, but you must not touch my neck. That was not part of the bargain. The words, a trick of logic, a loophole spun in desperation, hung in the air like a spell. Brokkr's rage burned hot, but the gods, bound by the laws of words and oaths, could not deny it. The dwarf could take Loki's head, but not sever his neck. Bound by his own cleverness, Brokkr could not claim his prize. Instead, he settled for vengeance. With thick, unbreakable thread, he sewed Loki's lying lips shut. The god of mischief, the silver-tongued trickster, silenced at last. And how the gods laughed. Resolution and takeaway. For a time, Loki learned humility, or at least, he learned silence. His lips, once a fountain of deceit and persuasion, were bound by the price of his own gamble. But Loki is Loki. His silence did not last. With time, the stitches unraveled, and the trickster spoke again. Yet he carried with him the lesson of that day. Sometimes, even the cleverest can be ensnared by their own tricks. And so, dear listener, let this be a tale to remember. Words are powerful, but even the sharpest tongue can be caught in its own web. If you wish to hear more stories of gods and their fated games, of warriors and their legendary battles, subscribe and ring the bell. The myths of old still whisper in the wind, waiting for those who would listen.